Hi, everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have, Wait, what do we say? It's been a while. Home, yeah. That's right. I was going to say show, and I was like, wait, that's not right. That's not the tagline. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we took a week off because Matt had... You know what? It's May. It's mental health month, and Matt desperately needed to not record for a week because he was not feeling it.
I mean, there's also no news, so I mean, don't feel guilty. But
no, you know what, Mike, ladies and gentlemen, saved me last week because I desperately needed somebody to say, like, give me a reason not to record. Like, I was like, you just got to keep pushing. You gotta. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop the grind. It's all about the grind. It's gotta hurt. No pain, no gain. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, I don't know, all day Tuesday and then Wednesday, and I'm just like, I can't. When am I gonna schedule it? Oh, I got kid stuff. And then Mike was like, yeah, but there's nothing to talk about. And I was like, oh, thank God. All right, that's all I needed.
Pencil with early bid for comment of the episode, at least this week. We have prospect news. Hell yeah! Ketzel, isn't it fun to fire up? What is it? Cap friendly, and you can see a little Axel Pellica in there. Yeah, huh? All right, 3 years, $950K, pretty sweet.
Yeah, we got a few of them to talk about. We can jump right into the slides here. I want to say what's up to Chewy too. Chewy teasing us a little bit. If you're not early, you're late. Good to have you aboard, Schuster.
And if
Dave throws out there,
you didn't just hear a pop in your headphones. I was just excited and I did one clap, so my apologies.
Dave throws out there, we have done our Vegas Golden Knights podcast since 2021. I think you guys are okay. So we're okay to skip a week. Dave, you're super reeling right now, man. You were flying high against Dallas. I know Dave moseyed his way on over to Nevada. And
Dave, I'm excited to meet you maybe next March because I think Matt and I are going to go to Vegas to see WrestleMania. It's going to be awesome.
My God, yeah. Huge announcement. Yeah, we both message each other. We're like, yeah, we'll make this one work.
Yeah, it's Vegas, man. It's going to be awesome. It's actually going to be warm out. It's not going to be cold like this year's WrestleMania was. But I know we do have hockey topics today. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a ton of hockey to talk about, including, Mike, we're going to try and make a pitch here for the Red Wings trading with the division rival Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah. Does it not, well, we could get into the, will it even happen within division? Like, does Toronto want to add power to one of their opponents? Like, do they really want to see Mitch Marner shove it down their throats? We'll get into that, but Chewy throwing out there the pitch for Mitch.
How did you get this photo of Wallman trying to popsicle Marner here?
I just,
how many photos did you comb through before you found the perfect image?
I'm gonna say like 36. But this was a Google image search of Mitch Marner, Detroit Red Wings. Actually laying on the ground to the right there is Mo Sider. So Mitch Marner had them flopping all over the place, as he was too.
Well, we did, like Ketzel alluded to, we did have a little prospect news. Should we jump into that first?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's first. All right, yeah. Andrew Gibson, Mike. I was thrilled with this. You want to know why? This is my seventh defenseman on my NHL 24 team. He's been seventh defenseman for I think about 8 years now. But he's solid. He's kept his contract at the league minimum. He's a 78 overall. Never was able to crack 80. And if we have an injury, he fills in. He's got some good speed behind him. Solid abilities in NHL 24. I was really happy to see Andrew Gibson sign his entry-level contract.
Question. Are we sure he's not a middle reliever for the Detroit Tigers? I'm just asking because he's got a mustache and a mullet, which seems to be the required facial and skull hair to be a Detroit Tiger.
Yeah, he definitely he would fit in. No doubt about it. But I think I don't know. Is this the more exciting one you want to talk about? Like Axel Sandin Pelika signs his 3-year ELC. Also, I think since we've recorded, it's become SHL champ. Holding this trophy there, celebrating. Yep. I'm not sure if we missed that. This was a couple weeks ago, was our last episode. I'm pretty sure this happened in between there. So I added it to the slides. Good to see. Our boy, this is Mike. This was your call. This was your draft pick. I will only be happy with last year's draft if we walk away with Axel. I couldn't have been happier for you.
He was, because he is atypical for Yzerman, right? Because he likes his defensemen with a lot of beef. He likes, big meaty men slapping meat. And Axel's 5'11", 176, smaller dude, but he scores.
Yeah,
because he had the most points, I think, of any under 19 skater in Sweden. Like they're Sweden's top professional league. So I mean, kind of a cool honor, right? As a young guy. Yeah, I mean, he contributed to that SHL championship in 2024 here. He actually scored points too. I hate when they just say he's like on the team. Like, I don't want to hear about him being Drew Bledsoe, He was actually out there winning the ring, Shout out, by the way, if you've not watched that Tom Brady roast. My God, what an incredible 3 hours. It was genuinely funny. But
I had fun with it.
No, I'm really excited for this guy. He's got a sweet name. So I'm going to be excited to read, all the puns about Axel. And, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Guns N' Roses headlines whenever this guy gets a goal or an assist for the Red Wings.
I do believe, because Ketzel throws out there, Pelican is ready. I do believe to the Swedish media, he's already made it clear that he's staying in the SHL next season. So I don't know if that's like I don't know if that's like a threat. Like if I'm not a Red Wing next year, I'm staying over here in Sweden. Which honestly, like what changes right there, right? You just won a championship, right? It's not, what else do you have to prove over there? So
yeah. All it does is inconvenience me because it's a little bit more difficult to watch the games. But, I understand him. Sure. He probably feels like he gets a little more of an education, playing against the pros over there.
Yeah.
There's so many articles written, talking to like, because they're talking about this Calder run, and there's a cool little article on NHL.com, the Red Wings page, and talking to like Casper, talking to Soderblom. What are you getting out of this first year? And these guys are not like, it's just great to chase a championship. All they want to say is, yeah, the ice is really small over here and everyone's mean and hits us. So there's definitely an adjustment period. So I think that's the one thing that, I'm pumped for Axel to kind of learn the, smaller North American ice, a little bit more of our physical game. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind seeing this guy win championships and, being a contributing factor. So yeah, I'm glad that we're a little bit closer to see him in at red and white.
So, Brand New wants to know if Axel is going to be playing in Sweden again next season. Why sign the ELC? I think this is probably because the salary cap is about to go up. So right now, the maximum on an ELC is $950, which is where Axel is landed. This might be one of those 4D chess plays by Steve Yzerman here, which, granted, Mike, as a podcast, we've been pretty rough on Steve. We don't take it easy on him, but this is something where, I mean, at some point you're going to have to start playing this game where you're saving money. And yeah, if that max is going to go up maybe just by 25,000, maybe that's the play. But that is my best. It is not a great reason. That is my best guess right now. If he is officially sticking in Sweden, let's nickel and dime these motherfuckers. Why not?
Ketzel also making the point that it might have something to do with him participating in like development camps.
That is a great point, Ketzel. I think you might have nailed it too. So, all I'm trying to. So I'm reading up on this from Cap Friendly. There's a lot of things about performance bonuses, the length of the contract. Can be 3 years if you can get them before they turn 22. But I'm struggling to find like anything that does call out like they do this and now they can go to development camp. But I am seeing like that's the first thing that came out to me. And I'll say this, Ketzel, I started looking for it because I think you're right. I just haven't seen it yet. So somebody could maybe call that out and officially say that's right. I think you're right, Ketzel. I just haven't found it yet. But yeah, another guess out there. Looks like Max is about to go up. So could be the...
But by the way, Crimson, welcome aboard, buddy. And then he's saying, can't wait for Axel in 2030. All right. The year of our Lord, 2030. Yeah.
Crimson, I get it. I totally get it. I do think if he's talking about playing in Sweden one more year, you're going to see him the next year. He looks way too good. I can almost guarantee it.
By the way, Crimson, I think that Pelika, he's going to be a big dog. He's going to be the big dog out there. I mean, he's the little dog compared to the other defensemen we have on the team. But fun fact, 2030 will be the year of the dog. So just something to keep in mind there.
Did want to... God damn it. That took me a second. We did get the call out from Dan B. Pelika and Bishelnikov will be on the team by 2030. And Ketzel throws out there, he might never join the Wings. I do think, did he just sign another contract in the KHL? Ketzel, I think that might be what you're referencing. I feel like that is what just happened with our boy, but somebody correct me here. Somebody get me some real news here besides me guessing. This wasn't anything we were prepared to talk about, but I think that might be the case, that he just signed another contract. Not anything. I don't know if he can or can't get out of it, but yeah, Ketzel. Yeah, just signed another KHL extension. Thanks, Ketzel. I'm glad you're here today, bud. So yeah, that was one I feel like all season Red Wings fans on Twitter were like, guys, it's fine. In a couple of years, we're going to have Booch. He's going to be our new Russian super duper star. But yeah, Ketzel throws out there that number, 2 more years. Damn it. Bo Crimson. Hey, you know what? Conspiracy theory I could get on board with. Booch is being forced to sign those deals because of Russia. I think that's what we used to think was going on, right, in the Sergei Fedorov days.
And so it's begun. Dan B saying, in the Russia, we let our players over-ripen. Because he wanted to make sure I was in a ominous Putin voice. Thank you, Dan B.
I appreciate that. That was great. All right, so what else is going on, Mike? We got those signings, but we also have Nate Oh, I put this in the wrong order. The WHL Western playoffs. Nate has been absolutely killing it. Right now, he's the 5th ranked, of course, on the Winterhawks for the WHL in Portland. 5th ranked in points with in 14 games, 5 goals, 16 assists. I mean, if we're going to talk about this draft from last year, as we continue to, we're going to kind of make our way into, now we have the 15th pick this year. But last year, shaping up pretty good. You've got some pretty good seasons from a draft that when Nate Danielson got drafted, I think you and I were sort of upset with his nonplussed reaction, his sort of deadpan to the camera of like, oh, I'm a Red Wing. But he certainly smiles now. Our man here getting WHL honors on a weekly basis, absolutely killing it for the Winterhawks. Good to see. And again, this is something too that can't ignore. We're like, well, all right.
I would also
don't necessarily hate it. Go ahead.
He's got 1 more point than Matty Savoy. So Matt, I crunched the numbers here. That means he's 4.76% better than Matty Savoy. So everybody who wasn't sure what to do with the rankings, there you go. 4% better.
There you go. It's a great call out. So yeah, so far so good with all this news that's coming at you, everybody. Also, Mike, more prospect news. Griffins don't know who they're playing yet, but they're past the Rockford Ice Hogs.
It seems like such a dubious honor to win this tournament. I know they keep talking about, hey, we got to let these guys learn how to win. Yeah, but I mean, they're learning how to, stay in the lines in a coloring book. I'm not that excited about this championship. And I was not paying attention, Matt, but did you see Simon Edvinsson was interviewed about making it this far?
No, what'd he say?
In not so many words, who gives a fuck? Because he said we were playing for a real playoff opportunity with the Red Wings, and we didn't make it. I'm upset about that. And so he basically was like, I'm here. And it kind of feels like he's overqualified, but, they wanted to get him as much ice time as possible this season, just skating around with the boys. And so, yeah, he just couldn't have been less excited about where this is going. As well he should. It's below him at this point.
Yeah, it is, are we cheating a little bit here? Or we're talking about how important.
Yeah, why don't we just throw Patrick Kane on the team while we're at it? Like, what is he doing down there?
Can we talk about how convoluted the fucking AHL playoffs are? What the fuck is this shit?
I don't know.
I don't know what the
they
hell's
almost
going
won their
on.
division. Like, what division? What are you talking about? But
yeah,
God, I don't even like looking at this graphic, Matt.
This is a mess.
You know what it looks like?
This isn't even this is the AHL.com website. The AHL.com is like, here's the best way we can show you guys what's going on with the playoffs. We've crunched the numbers. This is the best way we can represent.
This looks like the OS system that Lexi had to solve in Jurassic Park in 1993. This looks awful.
Yeah. It's tough to figure out. It's definitely hard for the Griffins to prepare for their next opponent. Let's get back to the slides here, because things are going good.
Yeah, Crimson, good call. I mean, Berggren is playing pissed off. Yeah, I think that's a good shout out. Kosa called him out too in his conversation about the playoffs so far. But again, it's like, what does this guy really have to prove in the minors? That's it. He's done. He shouldn't be here anymore. This is not really, even if he wins, the MVP of this run, I wouldn't even put that in my living room.
Mike, how excited are you for the number 10 ranked scorer who's got 2 games in this playoff run so far? Mike, Mr. Elmer Soderblom has a goal. Mike,
now this is a huge deal for him. He's got to get on that stat sheet. My man needs to figure out a way to make that team, because he hasn't done it yet.
Also, I mean, you go up and down this list. I'm not necessarily seeing like representation here of like, top to bottom, we have future Red Wings on this list. Marco Kasper, Simon Edvinsson.
For you one more time, too? So yeah, Edvinsson was like, "Who gives a fuck about this tournament?" And they asked Soderblom, "Hey, what do you think of this tournament so far?" He's like, "What a learning experience! I'm learning everything every shift. Man, this is wild down here." I'm like, this isn't a good sign.
No, I just wanted I was just throwing out there real quick. I think the chances of Mr. Soderblom making it back to Detroit, those chances are getting more and more slim as the days go on. Berggren, of course, has made it known that he doesn't feel as confident he'll be sticking around with this team for the long term. So yeah, you're looking at Carter Mazur, maybe Dominic Shine, Simon Edvinsson, Marco Kasper. Like it's cute, it's fun. I'm kind of landing on your point here, where I am excited. It's not bad that the Griffins would win a Calder Cup, but it also is kind of like, I like if Edvinsson's words are like, I'm good.
Yeah, he
I don't know.
couldn't just undersold it more. And appropriate. I don't even know why they made him play, honestly. I know that there any opportunity to get him skating, but where he could have got a lot of opportunities is in Detroit from game one, because it was embarrassing how quickly he became one of our top defensemen.
Yeah. I mean, those are the conversations too, where we talk about that timeline for this Red Wings team. But I think this point is really interesting for Berggren. Ketzel throws out there, Berggren has proved it all in the AHL, and he does say he wants to play in the NHL. I mean, that Ketzel says that, Berggren also says that himself. There was those conversations at the trade deadline where he was like, "Hey, I just want to play. If that means I'm doing it elsewhere, it means I'm doing it elsewhere." That's not verbatim, but that's along the lines. We're taking some liberties today, Mike. You're kind of off the cuff on what Edvinsson said. I'll go off the cuff on Berggren, but certainly those were the vibes that Berggren was giving off, and it's just like, for sure, could happen elsewhere. So he just wants to get her going. There isn't like the strong. There isn't the I need to get my chance with the Red Wings. He's just ready to go. He's ready to play some NHL hockey. He's ready to try and prove himself in a real role. Right? So here's the thing. We've tried it a couple of times, and you've talked about passing the eyeball test. No problem whatsoever, is Mr. Simon Edvinsson. Berggren does a lot of good things. When he gets called up to the NHL, I don't care if we need to put 1,000 asterisks on what his assignment is, what line he's on, who his playing partners are. If somebody wants to add 1,000 asterisks, go right ahead. Is the Jonathan Berggren that we've seen in a Red Wing sweater, is that an irreplaceable roster spot right now?
It is, but for a very particular reason that I want to see if I can move him for Mitch Marner.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, yes, we are on our way to talking about that. I'm not sure if that's the next slide.
I
think we wanted to.
I did want to touch on just a few comments too.
Yeah.
I had to go back because I didn't realize Decoy was in. Decoy, don't forget, buddy, we're buying WrestleMania tickets for Vegas next year, so you better get one as well. And Crimson saying, Elmer's honestly been pretty solid. I don't get the hate. Yeah, I don't hate him. I love him. I love that Redwood line. Who's the third guy? Because it was him. He's since moved, hasn't he? Didn't we trade him?
I can't remember.
I know. Because it was Rasmussen, Elmer, and that other goof. I can't remember his. He's not even on the team anymore.
Yeah, with he had his.
It doesn't matter. It's not hate. It's just it makes me sad that we know who's overqualified for the minors. It's the Edvinssons, it's the Bergers, and Elmer this is where he's got to be for a little bit till he kind of figures out more of the game. So I'm selfish, and I want to see him up playing NHL games as soon as possible. And I think he's got a longer timeline in the minors. And Dan B, no, Elmer, I love the guy, but I see him back in Sweden within 2 years. No, probably, but no.
Dan B throws out there too. I wanted to hit this one. I like guys who speak their minds. He wants to be in the NHL. If you don't like his answer, don't ask him a question. Hopefully I'm not giving off the vibes. I don't mind Berggren saying I need to play in the NHL. I also like Edvinsson throwing that out there too. Love to hear it. Sure. If that is a comment on Steve not liking the answer, I don't know. But I mean, Berggren, for sure. I think this goes back to what Ketzel said. Like, he's proved everything he needs to prove in the AHL. He goes out there, plays a solid game. I just think, I think the argument I was trying to make, and it's tough to land on that, is you just haven't seen the way that we saw Edvinsson just stand out as your easy, if not looking, nothing against Sider. But if you didn't start to think, oh man, maybe Simon Edvinsson is going to be the super duper star on the defensive side after 18 games in the NHL. But point being, those were the thoughts I was having. When I see Berggren, I don't think he plays bad. I think every time I see Berggren, I'm talking about, oh man, he's drawing in another penalty. Oh man, he's right there on the side of the net, exactly where you need to be to put the puck in the back of the net. But we don't see these numbers that are like production that's like through the roof and the whole team changes and now we're winning games left and right. I'm just saying, there's an eyeball test that was passed for sure with Edmondson. There was just a really good hockey player, and there's like 500 of them in Berggren. And I love him. I want to see him be a Red Wing forever. I love his name. I mean, we've been following him since he got drafted, is when the show started. So that's a special player to us. I don't want to see him go, but for sure, this does kind of feel like it's trending in the direction where it's like, for the Red Wings, maybe it's not going to work. But man, and we were halfway through the season. I remember arguing with other podcasts who aren't even here, who said Berggren just does not fit the Iser plan. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy comes up, he's a half point per game. He's throwing the puck in the back of the net on the power play. You just got to give him a chance. And now I am talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I don't
think he plays any defense. And I think he plays like Patrick Kane, but without the world-class puck handling. So I don't know if there's really, there's room for two of those this year. I would rather have Patrick Kane in his world-class, puck control and playmaking. And Berggren, he drew a few penalties, but I think you're right that as far as the eyeball test goes, you go, whoa. Like, for as a counterexample, you can see where Edmondson, that's why they wanted to protect that guy and make sure he got everything he needed. Because you can see him being a number one defenseman, where Berger, he just hasn't quite, I kind of put him in that same little bucket as like Veleno, where it's like, oh, there's a flash or two, but I don't know if this is like a guy where I have to put him on the NHL roster. So maybe in that capacity, it was, kind of a smarter decision to have him play, for this Calder Trophy, to kind of give him some more exposure and be like, hey, we got a guy who, led the Calder playoffs in points and led him to a championship, because he just hasn't dazzled Yzerman yet. So,
yeah, maybe we got to stop taking dumps on him, because we do want to make sure he gets traded. So we don't need the Leafs listening to this podcast.
By the way, I did want to throw in one of the comments of the episode, Crimson Shadow, who came in with an assist. Man, it was Sundqvist.
Oh, yeah. I caught that. Good call. All right. Where are we at? What's up next? I pulled up this slide for a second here. My favorite thing in the world to say, the IIHF Men's World Championships, Mike, featuring Trey Augustine from Michigan State, and of course, part of the Detroit Red Wings prospect pool. Not bad. Not bad for, I mean, come on. Kid coming out of Michigan State, and he's played well enough to get that chance in the World Championships. Now, look, you go up and down that roster through all these teams. I get it. We're not talking about like the Olympic U.S. roster. I totally get it. But this is huge. This is huge for this kid. This is not something that happens too often when we're judging Red Wings prospects, that one is chosen to lead this team. Of course, the other goaltender on this team is Alex Lyon, which is pretty neat too. But obviously the news here, Trey Augustine. I mean, you load up this team with, Alex Lyon is goalie number one, arguably. There's also a Jeff Petrie. So, granted, take that little piece of salt with you. However, all things considered, huge accomplishment for Trey. I couldn't have been more excited for Trey. I'm happy to see what happens here. He's already had some opportunities to show off a little bit. We don't have any of the highlights right now, but trust me, you guys, you're gonna be pretty happy with what you see. Of course, Lucas heading over to Sweden. Dylan Larkin injury is going to pull him off of Team USA, which I just learned today. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah, good news for Trey. That's really there shouldn't even be Lucas Raymond slide up here. It should just be Trey. This is the huge news. This is the news where you look at Kosa's helping the Griffins march their way through the playoffs, albeit at an 88 save percentage. But then on the World Championship side, there's another goaltender prospect in the Red Wings system. Finally, that is turning heads.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is also just an indication that this offseason, I've seen some local radio stations talking about what the Red Wings need to prioritize and what they're going to do. They're almost certainly not getting a goalie. I feel like they're just going to let it ride with Husso and Lyon because they know that they got, Augustine and Kosa, waiting in the wings. So, I mean, if you had pie in the sky dreams about, was it like Markstrom or I don't know, there's some other dude from Winnipeg, it's not happening. They're going to be prioritizing like defensemen and forwards. They're not making any goalie moves, Matt.
Well, yeah, the other, we'll get into this as the offseason rolls along here, but UC Saros is the other one where it's like, what's Nashville going to do here with their own goalie prospect pool that looks well enough to handle what's going to happen with Nashville going forward, especially if they're not necessarily cup contenders, but do you want to pay UC Saros when you could probably get some good draft picks out of them? So Saros is the other big one that seems to be bouncing around. That's where I think, I mean, if I had to make a real guess, you talk about a name like Mitch Marner, and we're about to talk about it. That might be Nashville. Kind of sounds like the perfect landing spot. I don't know if it's just because Nashville had their big trade with Montreal. Man, was that like 10 years ago now? But I kind of smell a UC Saros and some Nashville meat getting traded over to Toronto. But before we get into that, let's just do this. We'll save some more content for the rest of the summer, huh? Red Wings get the 15th pick. That does put us in a pretty good position to grab. Cole Yzerman. That's who I want. And I would say, Mike, to your point, you said Yzerman went against his normal. Like, I'm going to get a huge defenseman. I'm going to get one that's going to produce a little bit. In Pelika last year, I think you continue this trend. I've seen a lot of people push back and say that Yzerman is a one-trick pony. But you know what, Mike? This is the trick that has him as the highest scoring goal scorer. Oh my God. Highest producing goal scorer. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Of all time in the US NTDP. I'll take it. I'll take a chance on that. Look, you're picking 15th. You're not picking top 10. You're not picking 1, 2, 3, 4. You're picking 15th. Let's take a shot. Let's see what happens here. And the goddamn kid's name is fucking Yzerman. What more do you need? Why push back on this?
That's why I would be surprised if he dropped all the way to 15. I think some team is going to hear the homonym and be like, "Oh, we got him. We got him." Yeah. With wildly different spelling. He's atypical for us because we only draft large defensemen, Pelika aside, and centers. And so basically the debate is, are the Red Wings finally going to break their own MO and draft a wing? And that's where this guy would be atypical for us because we don't do that. I guess, you could say Lucas Raymond. So we had pretty good luck when we do draft wings. But the other guys, there's also a couple of Michaels that I saw. There's like a Michael Brandsig Nygaard, which I'm sure all of us have watched all of his tapes. So we're pretty well versed on him. But he's a big body dude from Sweden. So he's big. He's Swedish. That smells like Red Wing. And then Juracek. There's another Juracek this year. So keep an eye out. He's a defenseman. Is there one other guy's going to just drop? So I know we'll probably do a little more of an in-depth look, when we get a little closer. There's another Michael. I can't find him. But yeah, there was two Michaels in there. So we'll see. Yeah,
and I would say too, like we could play this game of like trying to figure out like is it worth.
We got a third bid for a comment of the episode because if we don't get is his name Cole Yzerman? No.
Cole, yeah.
Crimson Shadow saying maybe we'll get Alexander Zetterberg or
yeah.
I know Matt's crossing his fingers for George Datsuk. That'll be really fun.
I think we're talking about real players here because there's Lindstrom was one that I called out a while back. Yzerman, of course. Zetterberg is in this, and then I want to look up his first name before because there's a Howe too.
There's an Aginla this year.
Tanner Howe. So you have a Tanner Howe as well.
Beautiful.
So what is Alexander Zetterberg from the J20 in Sweden, 58 points in 45 games. Give it a shot. Why not? But yeah, we'll go through all these names a little more in depth as the summer goes along, as we have been doing the last few years. We got to save some of the content. I was going to make Mike go through another Max Boltman article, but we'll make you guys wait. I like Dan B's comment. Dan B threw out there, and the 97.1 guys probably think Cole is Steve Yzerman's kid.
They were the ones trying to prioritize a goalie, and it's like, no.
Well,
That's a waste of resources. I don't want to put cap space into that. I don't want to give up picks. I don't want to give up prospects. I want forwards and defensemen. Let's go.
Oh, no way. Dan says there's a Sawchuck in here too.
Cool.
Man, what a list. Let's see if I can find him. Nope. Oh, well. How about William Samuelson? Let's do it. Yeah, all right. Let's talk to you guys about what we titled the episode. Oh, wait, no, we got a sneaky one here. Real quick, Mike Vincent Trocheck absolutely killed it for the New York Rangers.
I know.
Of course, it's the guy who...
Is this just a slide to pat ourselves on the back? This is who you and I wanted. But
look, it pains me, honestly. Every single time I see Trocheck pop up on the box score for the Rangers. Mike, do you want to compare how many playoff goals Vincent Trocheck has since he signed with the Rangers to how many playoff goals Andrew Kopp has since he signed with the Red Wings? Should we do that? I'm kidding. Look, Trocheck turned in a 36-minute night and led all players in minutes. This isn't a guy that you can just like these games that we play of like, Andrew Kopp, he plays tough minutes. How about the guy that played all the minutes? Just get out of my face with this. Oh, God. What's the difference too? I'm going to look these contracts.
I'm willing to give Kopp some leeway because he's still recovering from core surgery.
No, I think there is a conversation to be had where it was like, I wanted Trocheck. Did Trocheck want us? Well, I think that's up to the GM to figure out. And unfortunately, whatever.
I mean, we're throwing out...
Ketzel throws out there too. I cry every time that we didn't go after Trocheck. He is, I will say this, pivot to the NHL playoffs just for a second. This might be one of the coolest looking second rounds I think I've ever seen as a hockey fan. When you're talking about Cinderella stories, just boom, kick them right out the window. Nope, you're talking the 8 best teams made it to round 2, arguably, or at least, like if Vegas had made it over Dallas, like, who gives a shit? That would have been great too.
Do you want to hear? Hold on. Do you want to hear some fascinating trivia about Trocheck and Kopp? This is gonna blow your mind, you guys. It's gonna blow your mind. Are you guys ready? I'm not even ready to. I have to look at it 5 times because I can't believe I'm about to say this. Trocheck and Kopp make the exact same amount of money.
No.
The exact dollar for dollar 5.625 AAV. Incredible. If only we could have found 5.625 in the books. Oh, no. How could
we? Yeah, there wasn't like a 5.725 conversation that could have started. Oh, my God. Well,
wow. Man, I'm going to hold on to that forever.
That was great. I was going to look for that. The way that you presented it, though, was 1,000 times better than I think me sobbing through explaining that would have sounded.
Wow.
Incredible. I just want to see too. Does he have? Okay, they both have no trade clauses. I was gonna think it would have been hilarious if Kopp had a no trade clause and Trocheck was like, "Nah, I'm fine, man. Trade me away." It's fine, guys. It's cool. Yeah, Crimson thrown out there. Stevie Y could draft, but man, his free agent moves make me die a little on the inside.
Dan B. Oof, another bid for a comment of the episode. Steve is not infallible. Absolutely. It's okay to say he sucks at some stuff. Namely,
it's okay.
Signing free agents. Yeah. Kessel,
Somebody,
you rascal. Steve did say, I warned you. I'm only building through the draft. You make me sign people, they're going to suck and you're going to be mad. Oh, GLJ. Ooh, does Cop even sign without his Michigan connection? Ooh.
Man.
Well, you know what? That's going to be scary because is that the only reason that we got the Cat? And then the only reason we got Kane is because we got Cat, who happens to be from Michigan. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Guys are playing. Yay!
All right, we're not ragging on the guys who are playing. Not today, because
we don't have
Steve
6
can
hours.
redeem himself.
And then Crimson saying, do we want a reminder on players that make the same as Justin Hall? Oh, Crimson, we don't have 44 hours on this episode. We can't do it. We can't.
Oh, God. How about just a podcast on how many articles were written on what was Steve doing with this one? And you just fill in the blank. Okay.
Can we get into something sexy and exciting for this offseason? Now, Matt, I just want to tease this because it was me. It was me, Austin. It was me all along that I thought this was going to be the summer of the Maple Leafs where they blow it up. They blow it up. Because I thought we were going to be in on Nylander, and then he's like, no, I want to be like every NHL player and sign a mortgage with a team and just stay in the same spot forever and ever and ever. And it made me really sad. But, Matt, there's an option out there. There's 2. One you don't really want because he's not really deserving of his double-digit per season number, John Tavares. But, Matt, there is a glimmer of hope. There's a player who's in a position of need for the Red Wings. Matt, take it away.
Wait, real quick. Decoy says Cops. I called this out and I just realized it might not be true, but Cops' second and third highest point totals were the last 2 seasons. It's actually not true. That would be his second and fourth highest totals, but by points per game, I think it's third and fifth highest totals. So I just want to call that he is declining. He's going down, just like his age would suggest. So I was like, oh, Decoy, nice point. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, well, poop. Okay. Back to this. The case for Mitch Marner. Mike.
My God.
Look, how many times have we talked about being aggressive, using your assets to bring in somebody? Now, I'm going to say a name, and people are going to get angry because they're going to say, he doesn't play like that in the playoffs. He's soft. Or somebody earlier today said in the comments that Mitch Marner is a soft piece of angel cake.
Oh, however, was that Decoy? I think it was Decoy.
That might have been Decoy.
He gets a free pass because we're going to see him at WrestleMania next year in Las Vegas. But go ahead.
I'm not going to argue with that. But my man puts up points in the regular season. And Mike, you got to get into the playoffs to win the Stanley Cup. And to get into the playoffs, you need scorers in the regular season. Now, here's the thing. We could talk about that playoff performance, and you can hold that against him. But he's also at a team that, for whatever reason, they all play like that. So, look. We could rag on him. We could rag on the team. But this is a guy, if we pull this up here, in 2 of the last 3 seasons, sniffing around 100 points, 35 goals, 30 goals, 26 goals. My man is going to be at the top of the points list for the Detroit Red Wings those last 3 seasons. Mike, 3rd in Selke voting just a season ago, was 16th in Selke, 10th in Selke. 33rd in Selke, 14th in Selke.
Other direction.
He's getting the Selke votes. The calls from some folks who say this will hurt us defensively. Where is this coming from? This is a guy who, when he's on the ice, His team owns the puck. As Jay Fresh measured it here, your even strength offense, even strength defense looking great. Of course, you're going to see the power plays come together once you get a Mitch Marner on your team. Of course, yes. When you have a 70 goal scorer, those power play numbers are going to jump up a little bit. I hear you on that. But this is a guy who's shown on different lines that he can score. The passes are there. The passes help Austin Matthews score 70 goals. Not every player in the league scores 70 goals. You need the team around you to make it happen. I get it. Not everybody's as sure that the 100 points or coming sniffing around it would happen. But I see a good hockey player. I see a two-way hockey player. I see a guy that a lot of people have another problem that goes outside of the game, and that would be his family. But you know what? I'm seeing a kid that wants to prove himself. I'm seeing a kid that was tested by the Toronto media, and he turned in some good hockey after that. He was tested by the Toronto fans and turned in some good hockey after that. Mike, he gets the Selke votes. We don't have a guy on our team that gets Hart votes. Mitch Marner gets Hart votes. And I know voting is dumb, and I actually hate the NHL awards. But goddamn it, they don't happen by accident, except unless you're voting Alexander Ovechkin on the left wing and the right wing for the first team All-Stars, which has happened in the past because hockey media is pretty dumb. However, the stats are there. The narrative's there. The story's there. The eyeball test is there. We have a guy who can pass the puck. We have a guy who could skate. We have the potential, Mike, to pick up a winger for this team that needs a top 6 forward. And we've been talking about it for the last couple of years, that it's not about another role player. We need a guy who can score. We need a power play specialist. We need a guy that we can count on for years to come. And Mike, if you want to talk about his family coming in and ruining, pulling like a Patrick Mahomes type family, ruining part of the culture that Steve's trying to build here. You think Steve's going to let that happen? You think Steve's going to get bullied by Mitch Marner's dad and he's going to make more money from Steve Yzerman? Get out of here. Get out of here. Come on. Do you not trust Steve? Do you not trust Steve Yzerman to get it done when it comes to signing that new contract? How dare you? How dare you? All right. Look, I haven't looked at the comments yet. I don't know what's going on. I think this is a good hockey player.
There's some good stuff
he's probably going to hit the market. And I think it's worth talking about. And Mike, you and I have even put together some potential trades here that are going to help Mitch. I'm sorry, not help Mitch, help the Maple Leafs. That's an interesting conversation.
Let me throw a few in there. Decoy, first of all, with Mitch, God of Thunder, Marner. Crimson saying problem is Detroit's got too many softies. How is this going to help? Some people like Mr. Softy. All right, maybe you're a Dairy Queen guy. I don't know. GLJ saying, I wish our biggest problem was whether we should keep Mitch Marner or not. Problem is, what do you trade for Marner? And I feel like we kind of have that solution. Because we have some prospects that are prospects. They're not, they're not the next Edmondson. They're not the next Lucas Raymond. And by the way, Dan B saying, Matt, Marner gets votes because there's like 150 voters in the Toronto media. What was the other one I had? And I guess I just don't think the trade is that difficult for us. It's just about, do we even have the guns, to get a Mitch Marner? Because my concern was, how do you structure the cap if you're going to be paying Larkin, Mo, Raymond, and you still got to pay Cop and Comfort because nobody's trading for those contracts. No sane GM. And DeBrincat. And maybe trying to find a way to retain Kane. I don't know. That's a lot of dudes making a lot of money. So, then you'd really have to rely on Steve actually playing the prospects to even make the cap sheet work. However, we know the cap is going up, and we're not that far away from making this work. It would probably just mean that you are, where is it at, Matt? You're probably doing a buyout with, Justin Hall, and you're probably trading somebody like, Matt, do we want to put packages out there? Because I would say it starts probably with Jake Wallman, because you got to get Toronto a little interested. So we give him an NHL ready defenseman. Hey, he could be your 1, 2, 3, 4 right up top. I don't know, to make the money work. I'm so sorry. We have to include Fabry. Listen, it's just for the money. You only have to keep him for a year, right? And then you can figure it out down the line. We're going to give you a replacement wing, right? You can slide right in. His name's Johnny Burgers. And I know you're itching for another defenseman. Okay, I get it. You get the wall man. I can't give you Edvinsson. Listen, I'm getting bad reception just you saying his name. Pelika, go fuck yourself. You comedian over there. We'll give you Wallander and we'll throw in 2 first-round picks. What do you say?
I think they say no. I think you got to talk about Pelika.
Oh, man.
I think you got to talk about Edvinsson.
Oh, no.
I don't know if Wallander's enough.
Shit. Can I talk into Johansson?
No. You're going further down the list. No, I like trying to use this year's first round pick, because what did we just draft in our pretend quick draft? We drafted a winger who brings only offense to the table. Mike, you could use that first round pick and get make it a part of a trade that you hope is the level of production that a Mitch Marner is going to bring. Get rid of all those first round picks. 2 first round picks, no problem, because they're going to mean so much less going forward if you can add this level of talent to your team.
Yeah, I don't think we have the bullets, because they're going to want, I think
they're going to want something now.
Start. They're going to want a sexy prospect, not, the ones that we're willing to give up.
Yeah, I think I'd F around with a Pelika. From what I've seen from Edvinsson, I think that's the guy you're building your future around. And I think right-handed defensemen are so hard to come by. I've seen everything I need to see. It's not. There's no. Let me restate that. There's no question about Seider. Pelika, we don't know, but I think you've got a position right now where everyone's excited about him. And I think if he's a prospect being added to this, I think it looks juicier. I think if they want help right now, they're trying to move guys around so that they're not spending $10 million on every player. Their top 4 players are forwards, all making $10 million. So if you're moving this around, you got to figure they're trying to get some depth and they're trying to get some better defense. And I think Jake Wallman crosses that off the list. I don't think Fabry is really going to juice him up. Man, I would love it if there was some world where they were like, we need that grit from Andrew Kopp. No, please don't. But I do think there's a world. I really do believe this, because they're going to drop Tavares too, where they're going to need a center. I know this might sound silly, but this might be a piece, but you're probably talking about a comp for now, and then they probably are going to want to load up too. So I think it's got to be
Marco
or Nate.
Woo!
We're giving up a lot here. I'm not giving up Marco, Nate, and Axel. I think I'd mess around with Axel and Marco. I would not give up Nate and Axel. I think that's too much.
I think it would have to be Marco. Oh God. Marco, Wallman. Jesus. Comfer. That makes the money kind of work. 2 first rounders. Ooh. It's steep, but you got to remember, are any of those guys going to be as impactful as Mitch Marner?
I think that's why you got to throw in Axel.
Kind of middle end of the first round picks. The Wallman, who I hope we can find another, lefty D, to kind of take that spot. Are we prepared to say that he's our top left side defenseman? I don't think so. Right? Could we say that that's are we going to put Edmondson? Ideally it'd be Mo and Edmondson 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're just crapping your pants over, we can't lose our third or fourth defenseman. I hope we can figure that out,
That is holy shit, Mike, that is a great point. Yeah, you're not talking about, if Axel's making this team, you're not talking about your number one right side defenseman. Holy mackerel, is that a good point? Can this team survive if they have to trade away their number 3 or 4 defenseman? Hopefully. But this might be one of those games too, where we just keep adding to the list, and Toronto's still like, yeah, that's not enough. And I'm talking about giving up 2 of our top prospects. But I know,
I think a forward prospect, a defensive prospect, 2 firsts, and then 2 NHL ready guys. We're literally just restocking them because they've been so irresponsible about having depth on their team. So they could have, a Berggren. God, I really don't want to give up Pellikka. But anyway, you were saying, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What about what if we toss in for some value here? You could give them a goalie who turned in a over 900 save percentage, and he's only making 900,000, and you give him Alex Lyon. Because Ketzel is throwing out Husso. I don't think they want to add a $5 million goalie, but I do think they'd screw around with a $900,000 goalie. I don't know. I'm just saying we're talking about a couple of the top prospects on the second ranked prospect pool.
Another bid for comment of the episode, as Brand New says, Cop looks Mormon. Maybe he gets shipped to Utah. Thank you, Brand New.
No, I gotta believe too, like, this actually isn't on the table, right? Like, is Toronto going to ship him off and potentially watch Mitch Marner?
No, I mean, they're going to try to trade him to, the other conference. So if they moved him. But
yeah, I really like the Predators.
Would they do an
trade? I'm just going to pull it up real quick.
And Steve would have to completely reshuffle the deck. Buying out people and, breaking up some of this beloved depth and draft picks. It would be completely out of his comfort zone. And that Mitch is not going to be like, yeah, of course, Steve, I'll take a 2-year prove it deal. No, he's going to want a fucking, 10 years, $100 million. He wants to be the top paid player. He's not going to do an Yzerman contract.
No, there's a lot of, you're making a lot of sense there. I would wonder, former, with the Nashville conversation, you're moving them to the other conference. I mean, maybe not so much in the playoffs here, but UC Saros is somebody that's turned in a lot of great hockey for the Predators. I figure that might be a huge piece here that Toronto would be all about. That's just, to me, that's where it fits, and I feel like there's some guys on the D that you could add to Toronto. That's my best guess. And then Mitch Marner just feels like a Nashville Predator. Just picturing that face in a yellow jersey, Ooh,
I gotta say,
seems to make sense.
It makes me think that because I think it was such a big deal when Patrick Kane decided to come here.
Yeah,
I would still try to move heaven and earth, to say, dude, please stay here, because it's not just that you're a good player. It also makes it look like our GM is an attractive offer and that you want to play here over other teams. So I would be like, yeah, we're happy to try and make superstars happy. Look what we did for Patrick Kane. We made some moves. We kind of reshuffled cap sheet a little bit, and we re-sign this guy, even though he is 35 now, 34, 35.
Oh, Kane?
And it's, yeah,
37, 38? Is he?
No,
Wow.
he's 35.
I thought he's 37.
So
you know who's gonna get him? It's gonna be Vegas. Vegas is gonna move, like they're gonna give him like all right, maybe Hurdle wasn't the best move. Send Hurdle over because they're gonna need a center to replace Tavares. So they're gonna send Hurdle over there. They're gonna get Marner, and then I don't know. They'll make some other move where it's like Mantha. Oh no, Mantha's a UFA. I don't know. Something crazy's gonna happen, but he'll end up being a Vegas Golden Knight. Like it's gonna be Nashville or Vegas. I guarantee it. And we're gonna be like, we would have done that. Toronto, come on.
Knowing how Steve is so determined to win every trade, I don't think he's going to give up 2 prospects and 2 picks and 2 NHL guys for Mitch. I think he's probably going to, I don't know, put some eggs in the Stamkos bucket or something. Or basket, I guess I should have said.
This was for me, comment of the show. Ketzel throws out there, I want to be a cap team. F this leaving $10 million on the table at the trade deadline. I like this.
But think about how nice it looks at the end of the season when you show the team owner, look, I saved us $10 million. Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm. Look at all these fans we got.
Steve, you know what? We're going to give you a bonus. You get to have 20% of that $10 million we saved. So that is for you. Bloop.
I did think it was funny listening to like Down Goes Brown this week. He's the athletic writer. He's on Puck Soup. Listen to every chance I got because he's a huge Leafs fan. And he's just like, man, you got to blow it up. 7 wasted years. 7 wasted. And I'm just like, hey, wait a minute.
Wait, what have we been doing the past 6 seasons?
How many years are we at now?
Wait, we got to blow it up. God damn it.
Oh man, parallels. Okay, guys, gotta go. Appreciate everybody coming along. Thanks for everybody still joining the show after we took a week off. If you guys have a second, hit that like button or the subscribe button if you're new to the show. If you had a tiny bit of fun, hopefully we didn't make anybody too angry with our call out here to go after Mitch, go after Uncle Mitch here. Because I know we're gonna rub some people the wrong way. But hey, you know what? We all fell in love with Patrick Kane, so just saying.
Yeah, sign Kane and let him recruit the superstars, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. I'm probably making too much noise. All right, we're sailing off the sunset. Everybody, thanks for coming along. We'll see you. We'll see you guys. Love you.
Let's fucking go.